Hola, clase. This is a quick little review on conjugating AR, ER, and IR verbs. So bear with me here. This is the first time I'm trying to do a recording while writing on the whiteboard at the same time. So we're talking about AR, IR, and ER verbs. All right. These are regular verbs that follow the rules of conjugation. Most verbs in Spanish follow the rules. So what you do is you cut off the two-letter ending on those verbs, whether it is let's take, for example, the verb comprar. It's an AR verb because it ends with AR. So when you conjugate that verb, what you want to do is cut off the AR part, and you want to plug on the endings for AR verbs. Those endings are O, AS, A, AMOS, AIS with an accent over the A, not the I. A lot of you are putting the accent on the I. You want to put it over the A. And then the last one is AN. Now, when we come over to ER verbs, one example that we have been using a lot is the verb comer. We could use the verb beber as well. Again, it's an ER verb, so the first thing that you do is you cut off the ER part so that you can attach the endings. The endings for an ER verb are O, ES, E, EMOS, EIS with an accent over the E, and EN. Then, one of the IR verbs that we have learned is vivir, to live. And again, we are conjugating an IR verb, so the process, again, is to cut off the IR ending, and in its place, you want to plug on O, ES, E, but this time it's IMOS. I, because it's an IR verb. The next one is going to be is with an accent over the I, IS, is. And then the last one is EN. Now, ER verbs and IR verbs are very similar to each other. So they have the ES, the E, and the EN endings. But for the we form, an ER verb is going to be pronounced comemos. For an IR verb, it's going to be vivimos because it's an IMOS, vivimos. Remember your vowel sounds. All of your letters in the Spanish alphabet sound the same. They do not change their pronunciation like they do in the English alphabet. So the letter A is always pronounced like ah. The letter E is always pronounced like A. The letter I in Spanish is always pronounced like E. All right. And the letter O is always pronounced like O. And the letter U is always pronounced like oo. All right. So those vowels do not sound the same. They do not change their sounds. All right. So if you hear me say a word and that word has an O sound in it, then it's always going to be the letter O. If you hear me say a word that has the letter U in it, then that U is going to be pronounced like ooh. And an example of one of those words might be the word cum clear. All right. So cu because of the ooh on it, and clear because the letter I is pronounced like an E. Cumplir. Cumplir. All right? So these are your conjugations. Now, if you take a look at your vocabulary on page 55, this is the chapter where we are talking about trips and vacations. All right? On that page, page 55 again, where there are several verbs. And those verbs, the first one listed is the verb hacer. Hacer, however, is one of the 6 verbs that I started off the chapter with, started the school year with, that doesn't quite follow the rules. It's an exception. So we're not going to include this in the list of regular verbs. All right? What we're going to do, let me see if I can add a page here, is skip to the next verb. The next verb on page 55 is the verb ear. Again, that is one of the 6 verbs that we started the school year off with. It does not follow the rules. It is conjugated voi, vas, va, vamos, vais, van. It has that V in there, and it has the oi for the yo form. So the verb ear does not follow the rules. We're going to skip that one. The next verb that I see on page 55 of your book is the verb llamar. Remember, the double L is either pronounced ya as a Y sound or j as a kind of a GH sound. But look at the verb llamar. It is a regular verb. It follows the rules. So if it follows the rules, then my conjugations are going to be O, AS, A, AMOS, AIS with an accent, and AN. But because we cut off the 2 letters, that doesn't mean we ignore the rest of the word. The whole word is going to be llamo, llamas, llama, llamamos, llamáis, and llaman. Okay? So, what does that mean? Well, if we remember our conjugations way back at the beginning of the year, the first one always means I am doing whatever this verb means. Well, what does the verb mean? If you look at your vocabulary, the verb means to call. So, llamo means I call. Llamas means you call. Llama means, oops, what happened there? He calls with an S in English. It could also be she calls. It could be it calls. Or anything singular. Again, anything singular. It could be the bird calls. It could be the whale calls. The class calls. My family calls. Again, anything singular, because this is the singular column. This is the plural column. All right? So we're talking about a group of people. And if that group includes me, then that means we call. If that group includes you, then that means you all or y'all call. And then the last one could be you all formal. Right? As if you were talking to maybe all your teachers at the same time. Or maybe you were doing a professional presentation in front of an audience that you don't know. Therefore, you would be formal with those people. You all are listening, or you all are calling people. Uh, Again, it's you all formal, or it could be they, a group of people. Okay? So that's how you conjugate the verbs. You always cut off the last two letters, only the last two letters, AR, ER, or IR verbs. And then you plug on the appropriate ending for whoever you're talking about. So let's take a look and see all of the verbs that are in this chapter that we have learned so far. We just did Jamar, and I'm looking on page 55 of your book again. The next one I see is via har, to travel. All right, that verb follows the rules. It is a regular verb. The next verb I see, and it's not an unconjugated verb, but I'm going to show you this verb here, kedar. That's an AR verb, and it means to stay. All right. Where are you going to stay when you go on vacation? We are going to stay at the hotel. Quedamos en el hotel. All right. Quedar, to stay. The next verb I see, skimming through your vocabulary, bottom one on the second column, page 55, tomar. All right. Tomar, to take a taxi, to take a bus, to take a plane, to take a train. All right. That is a regular verb. It follows the rules, and so is this next one, abordar, to board the plane. Board means to board, to get onto the plane, not bored. I'm bored in class. I hope you're not bored in class. All right. Facturar is the next one. Fa, tu, rar. Remember your vowel sounds. Fa, tu, rar. Facturar means to check or to check in, to check your luggage. All right. To check or to check in your luggage. Next one down is hacer. I already said we skipped that one because it doesn't quite follow the rules. Pasar. To pass. Or in earlier chapters, we learned pasar un rato, to spend some time. So pasar can be used to pass or to spend, but in this chapter, we're using it as to pass. All right, next one down. I'm going on down the list. I see another word that looks like a verb. Llegar means to arrive. The plane arrives at 9 o'clock. El avión llega a las 9. All right. Llegar is an AR verb. It follows the rules. And I see another word that looks like a verb we can use. Reclamar. To reclaim or to claim. To reclaim. Or you can also use it as to claim. All right. So on this page of your textbook, page 55, all of the verbs that I see in the vocabulary are AR verbs. However, we have learned several ER and IR verbs that you'll need to continue to study and continue to learn and use throughout the school year. So we've learned, why do I say, escribir, It's a regular IR verb. It follows the rules. I've also taught you esconder. That's a regular ER verb, and it follows the rules. Let's see, what else have we done? Well, we've done comer, and we've done bear. We've done vivir, and several others. All right, I can't remember them all at the top of my head, but these are a few, and you just need to go back to your previous vocabulary and previous chapters, look at your verbs, remember how to conjugate them because they keep popping up. Oh, and I just found one on the page that I ignored. Confirmar. That's an M. Confirmar. To confirm. To confirm your flight, to confirm your reservation. Vivir means to live. Beber, if you don't know already, means to drink. Oops. Comer means to eat. Esconder means to hide. Escribir, I hope you already know, to write. And we have done a lot of other verbs as well. All right? So the next thing that I would encourage you to do is maybe on a sheet of paper is to take some of these verbs and practice conjugating them. You have to be able to conjugate these in the present tense because eventually we are going to learn another tense other than the present. Sometimes we talk in the past. So we have to be able to tell stories. What did you do over Christmas break? Might be something I talk about in January when we get back in the classroom. Okay? But right now, you guys have to know your present tense. So take a verb, pick any verb, and see if you can conjugate it correctly. All right? You need to be able to do it without even looking and without thinking too hard about it. So here, escondo, escondes, es, because it's an ER verb. Esconde, escondemos, escondes, EIS, because it's an ER verb, and you put the accent over the E. And then the last one, esconden, EN. All right, and I just thought of another IR verb that we have learned. Recibir means to receive. All right, be able to conjugate it. Recibo, recibes, recibe, recibimos, because this is an IR verb, so it is IMOS. Recibis with an accent over the I, and then we're back to an E. Reciben. Okay, EN, ES, E. But for these two, you use I's because it's an IR verb. Recibimos, recibis. Okay? Keep practicing your verbs. Something else you should be able to do is be able to write a sentence. Pick any one of these and write a sentence with it. So let me say, I'm going to pick this one right away. All right? What does that mean? Well, first of all, we need to know what esconder means. It means to hide. And we know that this is used for the you all, informal, casual, y'all. So y'all hide from the teacher. From the teacher. Okay? So this right here is one word. Escondéis. Accent over the E. From becomes de. The teacher el maestro. All right. Now that brings to me something else that I want you to remember. Anytime you put these two words, de and el, next to each other, they become del. All right. And it's the same way if you use the word a next to the word el, they become al. Okay, remember that minor little rule too. All right, so there's a couple, that's a quick review on how to conjugate your AR, ER, and IR verbs. Practice them and try to write sentences with them, make things up, have fun with it. If you want any review, practice, you need to come see me for some help. I'm always here. I have a free period during second period, fourth period, fifth, and seventh period. So come see me if you need some help. I'm around.